Okay, good morning. Welcome to the Mayor's update from the regular meeting of council, which was yesterday, right on top of this one. First thing to mention, the High River Flyers home opener is this Friday, September 29th at 8 o'clock at the Bob Snodgrass Recreation Center. So home opener, let's all get there and pack the house for this one. These guys are doing great, so let's rock and roll for them. First item on the agenda, property tax arrears update. So at the end of the day, we've got 33 properties. If you remember back in March or so, we went and got a little aggressive getting up to date with some of these guys with their property taxes. So CFO Koloola Demeji has done an excellent job in getting that moving forward. Most of the properties have been have either paid up or have an agreement with the town where they are making payments to get caught up. But there's 33 properties that are not even communicating with the town at all. So number of reasons why that might be, but what we are doing is anybody, 33 properties over 2 years in arrears of their property taxes. So COLA is going to continue with the tax recovery process, as well as bring back to council what the process is and the timelines and the critical dates that are needed for putting these properties up for public auction and getting things done. So that's where we're headed with this thing. We don't like it, but it's only fair to the rest of the taxpayers in this town. That if you don't pay, it kind of doesn't turn out real good. So getting a little aggressive with that. We're 4 years after the flood. We were very cognizant of what people were going through and everything. None of these properties have anything to do with DRP claims or anything like that. It's unknown what the deal is because they're not communicating with us. So if you're one of these properties, please just phone the town and get things in place. We'll work with you to get it done. So away we go. Council swearing in ceremony policy. So this is Ledge Services with Kara brought this to us and just to outline what the actual policy and procedure is when we do the ceremony where we swear in the new mayor and the new councillors. So council remuneration review, same kind of thing where the remuneration that mayor and councillors get for attending meetings and per diems and all this kind of stuff. Where those rates are, she just brought that to us that the policy's been updated. She's also going to bring back where we can review what those rates actually are and what the compensation is. So that'll be done in the next few weeks. Appointment of the designated assessor. This is to appoint Mr. Stuart Dalrymple as our designated assessor for the town of High River. So welcome, Stuart. Stuart has an enormous amount of experience with tax assessment in a number of communities, well as the MD of Foothill. So it's nice to have Stuart over on this side of the building, the good side, I call it. Welcome, Stuart. Glad to have you on board. Land use bylaw monitoring program. So, as expected, everybody remembers my videos over the last year and a half when we were doing this big land use bylaw review, and it was just crickets chirping out of the community because nobody was really paying attention to this, and it's just the way it goes. Everybody's busy and doing their own thing. Nobody pays attention to some of this stuff, regardless of all the open houses and et cetera that we did. Until it actually affects you, you don't really take the time to pay attention to it. So here we are. The bylaw was approved in April. We're starting to get some feedback on this land use bylaw. This is a bylaw that has kicked the can across Canada and North America, and people are looking at us as to how this is going. Communities are very, very interested in what we're doing. There's a learning program, though, learning curve that's going on with developers, etc. Figure out how this is going. So our staff is Khalid Mohammed, with our Director of Planning, has put into place a monitoring program to get feedback from the community. How are we doing? Where the concerns are, where the wins, where the losses are, and we'll adjust it from there. If there is something that we recognize that is absolutely just not working, and I mean not working with some rational data and facts that shows it's not working, any bylaw can be amended. And we're open to listening and watching how this thing goes. So doesn't mean that we amend the bylaw just because you don't like it. So that's why this monitoring program is critical, to get this thing, just to watch how we're doing with this. As well as with the new land use bylaw, they've also have been conducting workshops, educational pieces to show developers, entrepreneurs that are developing, whatever it takes, anything to, home builders, et cetera. It doesn't have to be big developers. Just as to how these new rules work and the flexibility that it provides to the community. We've taken the zoning from 41 down to 6. And how does that work? So Khalid is doing an excellent job with these workshops, and so they just presented a summary report from the last one. So if you're interested, just watch or phone the town to find out when the next workshop is, and get educated on where this thing's headed. Last one was Memorandum of Understanding for the joint use of the administration building. This is just an agreement that we have with the MD of Foothills as to how we use the rooms if there's an emergency, how we coordinate and which rooms we share and which rooms are for press and everything else. So it's a standard thing that we do every year that was done yesterday. So the final piece was an easement agreement, which is great news for the 5th Street berm. So town staff, I just signed off on it a couple of minutes ago. Town staff yesterday brought it to us that we've reached an agreement with the landowner on the west side of 5th Street, so we will be able to build the berm that we need to offer the freeboard protection that's required along that riverbank. So another piece done on flood mitigation. We're still cruising along with the other stuff. It's not optional. It's not up for debate. It just has to happen and has to be seen through. So that's about where we're at. Have fun, rock and roll, election season. Oh joy. Talk to you. Bye-bye.